The Fine Art of Invisible Detection by Robert Goddard, narrated by Naoki Mori. Most of the negative reviews I've read of this book focused on the narration, and while I agree that Naoki Mori isn't the most engaging narrator, I've listened to a lot worse. But let's start with the story. The title of the book is The Fine Art of Invisible Detection, so you might expect that the main protagonist, Umiko Wada, is a skilled detective who somehow manages to surreptitiously find out everything she needs to know while going about her work. No, I think a more appropriate title would be Deus Ex Machina, or One Coincidence Too Far. The whole book is one coincidence after another, with the gods looking down on her one scrape after another. It really stretches belief. Wada, because that's how people refer to her, is a widow, her husband having been a victim of the sarin attack on the Tokyo Underground in 1995, although he survived comatose for a further 12 years. She works as the secretary or personal assistant to Kodaka, a failing Japanese private detective. He sends her on an assignment to London to find someone on behalf of and impersonating a Japanese woman who has been committed by her family to a mental institution. Yes, quite. She's supposed to meet Martin Caldwell, who claims to have information about someone called Nishizaki. On landing in London, however, Wada finds out that Kodaka has been killed in a hit and run, and although she's under no obligation to continue with the case, she does so out of a sense of duty. Caldwell fails to turn up, so Wada decides to track him down, leading her first to his flat, then to New York, and ultimately to Iceland. Within this basic story, there are multiple subplots about hippie protesters, chemical weapons, a military site in Cornwall, a missing woman, lies about parentage, meteorology, parcels of land in Iceland, an auction, and a Japanese henchman nicknamed the Irishman, not forgetting the journalist, of course, and Nishizaki is caught up in all that, obviously. I've noticed a trend that authors are increasingly stuffing their books with subplot after subplot. I really don't know why. It didn't make this book any more thrilling. Quite the opposite, it made it exhausting to get through. For a thriller or detective book, some basic knowledge on the part of the protagonist seemed to be lacking. Surely she'd know about the concept of a burner phone. The book wasn't written in the Dark Ages, so Google Maps had the option to download maps for offline use. Did that not occur to this detective? This is my first Robert Goddard novel, and I had to keep reminding myself that the book wasn't in fact written by someone Japanese. The writing didn't flow naturally at all. The rhythm felt off, and it wasn't helped by Naoki Mori's narration. Some reviewers have described her as robotic. I wouldn't go that far, but her intonation and inflection just weren't right. It's like the publishers looked for someone who could narrate fluently in English, pronounce the Japanese bits properly, but also do a convincing Australian accent. But they forgot to add one criterion to their list: someone who can act. Being an audiobook narrator requires more than just reading the words on the page. There has to be variation in speech patterns, and that's lacking here, although that could be due to the source material. Part of me wondered whether the author sees this as a future film. The action jumps from Tokyo to London, New York, and finally scenic Iceland. I'm not saying it would make a good film, it wouldn't, but it occurred to me as I was listening. Another thing I didn't really like was the characters. They felt pretty much one-dimensional. All we really learn about Wada is that she's a widow, she likes Japanese green tea over Chinese tea, and she is both a heavy sleeper and a light sleeper, somehow. Finally, I don't know what the purpose was of making the detective a Japanese woman, except for plot contrivances. Her Japaneseness didn't bring anything to the story. It could easily have been a woman from anywhere in the UK, and it would have made not one jot of difference. After finishing the book, I looked at other reviews. I found people talking about the fast pace. It was turgid. The complex plot. The basic plot is simple. And twists and turns. I can't remember a single one. The book was very formulaic. Would I listen to another book written by Robert Goddard? Other reviews say that this pales in comparison with his earlier works, so I might. Would I listen to another book narrated by Naoki Mori? Probably not. All in all, I'd give the book a 2 out of 5 and the narrator a 2 out of 5 as well. How about you? Have you listened to this book? Or have you listened to other Robert Goddard books? Are there any you would recommend? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe as I release a new review every week. Thanks for watching.